Guys, how you all doing? Welcome to the latest in the review. I do hope you're well and thank you ever so much for your continued support. I thought I would do an instalment for those who are dealing with depression at the moment, okay? So it's a natural part of evolution. And as we go through the cycles of time and look at the DNA and evolve because of it, all right, we are moving back over what we did before or acknowledging it again just to make sure that this time we get it, even though we do. The DNA has its own way of doing things, and we could refer to it as simply energy. Okay, it's simply energy if we want to tell ourselves that, or we could say this is sadness, this is anger, this is frustration. We could label it. If we label it, it's likely to come back around again. So the whole point in cycles coming over is to show you that you're still attached to what it means. Okay, so it's time to consider that it simply is. At that point, there's no such thing as life, and the energy itself can't be defined or looked at again in oppositional view. All right, so it's asking you're human. Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Okay, the thing is this, your issues are gone, all right, and that's because you've been doing the process a very long time. On the other hand, the process may have been so traumatic for you that you've basically created another load of distortion for yourself to acknowledge. And if you go by the Ra teachings, you would say all is distortion, even love and light, light and love, or whatever it is that you feel you're identifying with. Okay, so at this time, meditation is something you may want to consider, but it's not necessarily a fix for you. Okay, and to just sit with it can be too painful. All right, so what we want to do now, I feel, is to breathe. Okay, so here we go. So take a deep breath. I no longer identify with my issue as I once knew it to be for, before, before, after, 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 me. And breathe again. Okay, you may start to feel your body alchemizing. Sometimes the subconscious mind will try to define you, and that state is when you're sleeping. Okay, so it becomes very difficult as we move through the astral and we're in our own dream, and it's another vibrational response to our reality view. If we're not aware that we're in the astral, everything becomes extremely lucid, and then it's also defiant. All right, so as there are many stages, we could choose how we align with ourselves at any one time and deliver. So when we talk about aligning with ourselves, come back to you, and it's just you. Okay, so it's just you. How do I align with myself? And then you say this: why, why, why? And then breathe and let go. And if you want to stay where you feel still, that's nice for you too. If you don't want to, then you can sit there in the mess inside and start identifying again. But if you're identifying again, you're either doing one of two things. You're either trying to rebuild the body so that it can acknowledge life in the way that you want to, which is your choice, or you're letting go of time itself because it shows you there's nothing going on but the rent. Okay, and when we say the rent, we're talking about karma. All right, some call it the big C, which is also known as cancer, and karma would be defiance. Okay, so karma is a very powerful principle, but it's never noticing itself by your view because you have a belief system. Okay, so what you do again is come back to yourself and breathe. And you say this: no more time. Okay, now, if you're getting an ethereal review attack coming up through the cerebral cortex because there are women hounding you through your light body, look at yourself and say this: where have I been harassing myself? Where have I been wrong? Where have I been right? And instead of answering it, you ask yourself and say this: no more time. Okay, and you let your body know that it's done. What I'll do now is release some design models at 3A3. Okay, so this is equally suggestive. And we're looking at calceous forming review because people are just peed off with the same thing every time, and it's all around sex and the vagina. Okay, now the rainbow light review point is opposing all consideration because it never should have been cloned or attempted. Okay, so we could say the reason there's so much distortion is because the Fabergé, which is how you appear before each other, was distorted, and that's because you have an opinion on someone, and because forming has always been, we'd say, for the higher levels, I'd say so, but never on the earth. It shows that we build up in relation to each other. Now, it's all and good when it's just a chakra system, okay, or the body, and then cancer could be the result. But when you're looking at the auric field design at level 3 and then going off into universal zones, it becomes a problem for you because of the monad and the Congenidae, right? So it's really difficult to say that, the Congenidae. Okay, so the Congenidae is when you see, know, prove, own, accomplish, but don't go there yet, all right? So when it comes to depression, it goes forward and back, but never acknowledges you, and you always feel down because of it. Now, if you're naturally moving through depression, for example, you could say you're definitely anchored to the earth. All right. On the other hand, someone could see you as offensive because you won't do something about it, except it may be necessary for you for a while as you bring yourself back down and into the body. Okay, and so as we've been moving through a spiritual ascension process, it's quite normal to leave the body and become very, very high and seem ungrounded. It doesn't mean that you're not. If you're moving through an ethereal plane review, you have to understand that this itself is always showing you more. Okay, and that's because of the way we know light to be, and no one's ever solved ether. All right, on top of that, you have bodies that support you too: bacterial, decay, knowing, wisdom. Okay, and then on top of that, you've also got the elements. Okay, so people don't talk about fire, water, metal, wood, or anything like this, and yet these belief systems are very powerful. Let's remove him from my body now because he's channeling through again. You're really annoying, you are, aren't you? Okay, breathe. What we'll do is run a correction to the eye now. And this is the left-hand side. And this is Passius Opaci. Okay, so Passius Opaci is a constellation similar to Kamirajan, and you would probably know the definition review of Canis Myci, except it's Canis Myciae, and then you've got the tonare and a do, all right? So you're looking at how the knowledge is showing you more time, and it's because sound and movement are better. The problem is when you know that nothing exists, you're in the illusionist, and that itself is difficult because one, Earth might see everything, you'd say therefore natural. Okay, so there's a quick way out of this. There are both, and I know me. There are both, and I know me well. There are both, and I know me well. And I'm always the magician. Okay, so this is for people that are very high level. Not everyone is here to experience the ethereal life or move forward or even accomplish through ascension. It's a very, very small percentage overall that leave their bodies, come back in, and deal with many belief systems and many views based upon the religious Padagati, and that's for your soul to understand no more time. Okay? Because it itself may well be a projector screen for what we see and showing you everything that's ever been, always, and then you'd say this: what about my choice? I don't want to see it. All right, so this is what we're talking about. Also, the complexities of our knowing would take us further and deeper into our own deceit because no one's really been up to space in a spaceship. So how on earth can we be clearing a cosmic body when that hasn't happened physically? The illusionist. Okay, so here we go. All right, let's remove the gay community level 2, 2 and 3. Fabergé. So the rainbow body was distorted through. It looks like Harishmuda, which is similar to Kadayame. We're looking at Mars in the sequel comet zone, which is really profoundly clever. And then we're going up again to acknowledge the life, which is always showing us that we are free, but never offensively. Okay, so it's about time that some positive things started to happen instead of this. It's all deceit. First you'll be lied to, and there'll be negative. Then you'll be lied to, and it'll be positive. Let's remove the determination zones and acknowledge the divine blueprint. And what we'll do is activate now at level 3. It's strand 4 and 6. And then we'll go further again to understand ourselves once more by being nice to each other, which starts with you gently and saying, I love and acknowledge my body. Okay, and from that point, we will complete. Okay, breathe. Sorry about that, I had to stop. I'm being visited by a race at the moment that are very, very important, and I'm trying to look at the higher view of what is also necessary. What's been noticed is there is a dominant form, and this form is always taking shape and showing there is only one way to go, and it appears to come from the masculine genome, all right? So the patriarchal domination hive mind can be seen in many ways. Hive mind would show you worker bees. Worker bees are acknowledging through hexagonal patterns, and these ones are seen before solar light, okay, more commonly known as sacred geometry. So what we're going to do is we're going to update now through 9 light in the authentic tone review, and then we'll release the mechanism known as Yod in Defile, which is when they've tried to clone the identity of review and make it parable. Okay, and then at that point we'll acknowledge no more justice, and I'm always myself, and I am free, and then be respectful of each other completely. Okay, so this is my space. All right. Right. Okay. Depression is a number view. Okay. So if you've got a 9 and 4, you're probably going to suffer from it a little bit for the next few days. If you're a 6 and 20, it's probably at a degree, probably through Pyrazone. It could well be Chiron in Aries. But if your Chiron is already showing you no more view time, then it's done for you because of the way that it sells itself to be. All right. So I know that's difficult for the conscious mind to comprehend. The majority of the time, I would say this: try not to work it out, just be and breathe. So listen to the lecture and let your body do the work. And then if you want to go back and sit there and make notes, wonderful. If you don't, then that's okay too. All right. So releasing the belief systems that you're actually harming anyone or passing anything on, or you're co-creating just because you like to make notes, you like to theorize, okay, you like to speculate. There's nothing wrong with that accomplishment, but also to let your body know that it's not necessary to keep repeating itself. Okay, I'm sending you so much love, so much love, so much love, and speak to you really soon. Okay, if you'd like a session, all the w's.theessentialtimes.info, all the w's.theessentialtimes.info, and that'll be it for now, I think. All right, goodbye.